Welcome back, live from the corner of Keystone, South Lancaster Studios. This is DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. We're talking about the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. Dallas had gone into Vegas previously and had a tough time. Actually, they lost there in the Western Conference Finals last year. But this year, they went in, evened up the series 2-2, bringing it back to the AA Thursday for another game. And it started us to thinking while the Vegas Golden Knights were up 2-1, going back to Vegas for actually would they would Dallas be able to win another game? Oh man, they weren't up. Yeah, they were up 2-1. Dallas went in and won two games. They won the other game, won this game. Okay, so we had a question going last week. That's what it was. We had a question going last week about Steve DeBoer. And if you don't know who Steve DeBoer is, that's the coach for your Central Division champion Dallas Stars, facing the team that had hired him and fired him previously before coming to the Stars. So if anyone recalls the history of Steve DeBoer, and it was almost getting close to history repeating itself if the Stars didn't pull it out last night with a 4-2 victory in Vegas. But when it was looking bleak, that 2-1 lead, we were questioning if Steve DeBoer happens to lose to the Vegas Golden Knights again, does he come back for a fifth season? Because he's been there as long as Mike McCarthy has been with the Cowboys. And both were brought in to win championships with championship caliber teams. Neither one of them has brought anything but a division championship. So are we happy with the division championships? Do we need playoff victory versus your former team that fired you? And you can say the same thing with Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys because he got stumped by Green Bay in the playoffs. And it's something about teams when you have a nostalgic form, it's hard to defeat them. If you recall back in the day when Peyton Manning played in the Super Bowl versus his hometown favorite team that his dad had played for. His father had Manning 8. His father is in the record books with the New Orleans Saints. Archie Manning is in the NFL all-time leaders record books. You got to do it through the history. Go onto our website, subscribe, engage, like, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. You can find out more about what records Archie Manning holds in the NFL. And so when his son Peyton Manning was a quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts back in 2006, 2007 seasons when he was going to Super Bowls back-to-back years, he faced his team, the New Orleans Saints, and lost. I guess he saw his father on the name on the back of that jersey all the time. So if you want to know what Archie Manning is famous for as a quarterback of the New Orleans Saints in the NFL record books, he holds the records for the all-time losingest quarterback in the history of the game. Now, back when before we started a sports talk radio show, we used to question if you take the street analogy of a pit bull. When you start talking about pit bulls, most people try to associate that with Negro community. They want to make it seem like we're the only people in the world that like pit bulls. But we used to have the analogy when it came to pit bulls and Archie Manning. And we used to ask if you have a dog that never won a fight, then you breed it with a semi athletic dog can it produce two grand champions? Not one, two. Both of them got Super Bowls. Those Super Bowls. Both of them on Monday Night Football, Manning and Manning. Every commercial you see on TV got Mannings, father, both sons, grandchildren, got the whole family in the commercials. And what we want to know, excuse me, is if you're the losingest pit bull in the NFL, can you produce two grand champions? We used to always tell everybody it could not have been Archie's genes that produced those wimps. It had to have been the mom. She had to have been a better athlete in the family. There's no way Archie Manning produced two grand champions, winning two Super Bowls in the NFL. Eli Manning is a bomb, Bondsville's finest, won two Super Bowls. But the funniest thing about Eli Manning, we were at the game and we hold up one of these Dallas Cowboy towels that's wrapped around the armrest. You'll be able to see that it says NYG versus Dallas. Those are the best games to go to watch Aaron Dakota Prescott do his thing against the New York Giants. So we were in a game, sitting in the cheap seats behind Odell Beckham jersey. Guess we were on, yeah, we were on the Giants sideline. This was the funniest thing. So this was the game where they replaced Eli Manning with Daniel Jones. So we're in the cheap seats. We're saying, Eli Manning is a bum. The whole section turned around and looked up. But the person in front of us with the Beckham jersey, she kind of moved her shoulders like we scared her. So said it again. Eli Manning is a bum, right? So they turned around on the sideline. Eli Manning turned around, look, we stood up. Eli Manning is a bum. So everybody started turning around. We didn't realize that we were sitting in the visitor section at AT&T Stadium when we bought the cheap seat tickets and got all the people that were New York Giants fans riled up where we were screaming that Eli Manning is a bomb. So we were talking because they replaced Eli Manning with Daniel Jones in the game. And we made the comment, this is how garbage Daniel Jones is. By the end of the season, Eli Manning may be the quarterback again, if not by the end of this game. Why did they take Eli Manning out to replace him with Daniel Jones? That's the worst decision in the history of football. Yet and still, everyone questions what Jerry Jones does in Dallas. No one questions the ownership, the management, coaching, any of that when it comes to the New York Giants. But you go from a garbage quarterback in Eli Manning, hashtag Eli Manning is a bomb, hashtag Bombsville's finest at Dallas Sports TA2. You can see where we get into these social media battles with New York Giants fans, where they try to defend the garbage play of Eli Manning. Eli Manning sucked. He may have, he may be the only quarterback in two Super Bowls besides Brett. No, Brett Favre don't have two Super Bowls. Maybe the only quarterback in two Super Bowls that has 50-50. If he got 250 touchdowns, He got 250 interceptions. That cat, he's throwing pick for touch, pick for touch, same way he was when he was at Ole Miss. It was funny when he was recruited, they were trying to get him to go to Tennessee to replace the legend Peyton Manning, and he chose to go to Ole Miss where his father had gone. There's a story that they always talk about. Well, it's a recorded show, so it's not like anything new or this is new information. But they always it always stuck with us when they said that Eli Manning saw the records that his father set in college and jokingly said, "You weren't that good." That's the whole thing. We always wonder how did Eli Manning, Archie Manning, Peyton Manning, he was 6'5", he had a decent arm, but he was a garbage quarterback. When it came to really leading a team, every year he was mentally destroyed by Tom Brady and the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. They specifically targeted Peyton Manning. They didn't go after anybody else on the team when the New England Patriots used to defeat the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. So that was another funny thing. They tore down the stadium after they won the Super Bowl. Like the stadium was bad luck. And ever since they built Lucas Oil Field, they haven't won anything. They've been mediocre. They almost destroyed Andrew Luck as a person and an athlete. This dude went back to college, rather be a professor than to be a football player. That's how garbage Indianapolis became after catering to bomb like Peyton Manning for so many years. Ran off Marshall Faulk, ran off Edwin James, ran off Dominic Rhodes, ran off uh, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, the original Marvin Harrison. He became a gangster, alleged, after dealing with Peyton Manning. The owner, Jim Irsay, became an alcoholic and a cokehead, alleged, until he got that DUI and got found with all those prescription pills and vials of cocaine in his possession, alleged, because we weren't there. But we did live in Indianapolis for a year working at AAR. So if you want to learn anything about structural maintenance on aircraft, email aeronautical reproductions at gmail.com, or you can subscribe, engage, like. They have a website, level 3 maintenance training.tech. You can go and enroll into a free course, learn basic aircraft literacy skills that you can walk into any aviation facility throughout the United States, show them these skills, you'll start working the next day. When I was in aviation, people used to tell me that I was a success story because I had gone from the ghetto to becoming an aviator. Started at 17 years old, repairing aircraft in the military, one of the first Negroes to ever touch an Apache helicopter. Had a top secret clearance at 17 years old, learned an additional skills identifier called a Whiskey 6, where you get taught the defense capabilities of an Apache aircraft, AH-64. That's nomenclature for attack helicopter, the 64th variant. So it replaced the Cobra, which was a Marine Corps variant, and made the baddest aircraft to ever come around. So you want to learn more about becoming aviator, email us, Dallas Sports Talk Radio at gmail.com, or you can subscribe to our website, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. We have a link to level 3 maintenance training.tech, and it's some of their free courses, some of the knowledge requirements necessary to become an aviator. I've told you before, some of the requirements just you need to be basic knowledge. U.S. citizen, high school graduate, can speak, read, and write English. You can go from making $5.55 an hour to over $30 an hour just if you have basic aircraft literacy skills. These are knowledge requirements. If you've never heard of knowledge requirements, subscribe to our website. We have a blog telling you all the knowledge requirements, the jobs to pay $30 an hour. We've helped guys that have been on child support. The reason we teach them about aviation is because you never have to drive. Being from the state of Alabama, if you get child support, they'll suspend your driver's license. So you go around and you're like, well, how am I supposed to get to work? As an aviator, you never have to drive. All you have to do, all you have to do is be able to read, write, speak English, be a high school graduate, and a U.S. citizen. You could come from the ghetto. You could come from a single parent home. You could be never have a father in your life and make $100,000 a year. You can have a criminal record as long as you haven't murdered anybody. You don't write bad checks. You don't do forgery. Simple possessions, things like that. They don't care about that in aviation. Anything that can violate a federal a federal charge, that's the only thing that'll get you exempt from being an aviator. Man, 17 years old, straight out of high school, lucked up, went into the military. Once I saw my dream sheet, I asked the recruiter, what's an avionics mechanic? She told me, once you get out of the military, you could go work for an airline. Never knew it was going to take 25 years, but finally got on at Southwest Airlines and felt that the whole aviation story was complete. It's simple to get into trouble. It's hard to get someone that can help you get out. If you know someone that may have difficulties in school, we have a literacy program. It's all about finding a different way to understand the ABCs and one, two, threes. Sometimes your A should be aeronautics, some not Apple. Sometimes your A should be alpha, not almost or also. Sometimes your A should be airplane, aerospace, and defense. They don't teach us about that in the inner city. So when I tell you that I lucked up and became an aviator, lucked up and became an aviator. 17 years old, graduated, distinguished undergrad, went on to my unit, was the top soldier in the unit, decided to go active duty after that, went into another MOS telecommunications, was the distinguished undergrad, and that also from there got sent to Korea for a year, became top soldier on the peninsula, 365. Although I got injured on duty, I still maintained, no, take that back, failed my first PT test. After that, fought my way back to getting back in rehab myself while still on full duty. Because if you go on profile, they'll gig you and that'll kick you back when it comes time for a promotion. So once I got passed up for promotion, first time, decided that it was time for me to do something different and willed myself to pass that PT test. And if you want to hear more about that story, subscribe, engage, like, Our website, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com.